Hey guys! So if you didn't already know by the title, I am doing my very first tag video. So this isn't a makeup video, and it is the Olympics tag. And obviously you guys know that it is now the London 2012 Summer Olympics. And this tag was created by amarixe, and she is like my all-time favorite beauty guru. I definitely think you should check her out and that video because she created this tag. The Olympics are very important for me. I'm a huge fan of them and I'm always excited for them when they come, which is weird for me because I'm gonna tell you something. I am completely not a sports person. Like I'm an arts person, okay? I know nothing about sports. I know nothing about athletes. Like I don't know a single athlete in those games. Okay, maybe now I do because I keep track of them now. But before the games, I had no idea who was competing. I didn't know anything they did in the past. I just knew they were athletes and they were at these games, that's it. And but then when it comes to the Olympic Games, I all of a sudden seem interested and I start caring. Because like if I see like a basketball game, my brother would be like, "Polina, the Raptors basketball game is on, come and see." I'm like, "Why should I care about a basketball game? Like I don't play basketball. Like I don't care." And that's what I do for all sports. Like I don't care. I don't find watching sports amusing. But I feel like when it comes to the Olympics, I actually feel like I'm connected to the sports world for once in my life and I'm actually interested in watching. I don't know why, but I love the sense of all countries kind of united and you really get that that the pride of your country that I very seldom do. Not that like my country doesn't have anything to be proud about. It's just I don't keep track of it, as you know. So this tag comes with 6 questions, and I wrote them all down in this paper, right here. And I'm not gonna blab too much, and I'm just gonna answer the questions. So, number 1, which season do you prefer, summer or winter? Okay, so I don't really care. I love both summer and winter Olympics. I love them both. I think they're completely different, and there is something to love about both of them. But if I had to choose, I'd probably choose the Winter Olympics. And it's got nothing to do with the games or the athletes or anything like that. It's more got to do with like sentimental reasons because the first time I got into the Olympics was during like 4th grade, and this was during the 2006 Olympics, I think. And in our class at school, and the Winter Olympics were happening during school. And as an assignment, we each got assigned to research a part of the Olympics, and my part was to research the mascots. So I spent about a week watching the Olympics, researching the Olympics, and all their mascots, and I fell in love with it. So I wrote a huge report on the Winter Olympics and the mascot, and I was so proud of that report because it was one of the many that I actually put my heart and soul into. And then 2 years ago actually was the Vancouver Olympics during the winter, and that just raised a spark in my Olympic spirit because it was in Canada. It was the Vancouver Olympics. It wasn't in Toronto, which would be just awesome, but still, it was in Vancouver. And I just had so much pride for my country. Like, you have no idea. Seeing all these commercials on TV, Tim Hortons, proud to be Canadian. Scotiabank, proud to be Canadian. All of these commercials on TV that kind of enhance my pride. And the and all these Canadian actors, all these singers coming and saying, "I'm proud to be Canadian, Vancouver 2012." And everywhere, if you live in Canada, you would know that the Olympics were everywhere. It would be mentioned just everywhere. And I remember one day my mom came home and she brought me and my brother a little stuffed animal of the Olympic mascot. It was like a little like I forgot what it was. I think it was like a mammoth or something, but I loved that thing so much. I think I was like 13 going into 14 at the time, and I loved the thing so much. It was like my best friend at the time. And every single time I'd go and watch the Olympics, I'd like make sure I have it with me. And if I see him like on the screen, like if the mascot is on the screen, I'm like, "Look, it's you." And yeah, that was cute. And also, I like the winter better just because my country, Canada, excels more in the Winter Olympics. The Winter Olympics is more like the Canadian Olympics. Because in the summer, first of all, we don't have that much time to like practice because in Canada it's mostly cold weather. So the Summer Olympics, Canada isn't really, that good, I'm gonna say. But the Winter Olympics is just Canada's Olympics. So that was a really long answer to the question. I'll make the rest short, I promise. So the second question is, what are your favorite winter or summer events? So I don't keep track much of the Olympics. I kind of just watch them whenever I can and just try to go with the flow. Like, and my memory of like the events aren't that great, but for the Summer Olympics, my favorite events are, okay, this is like a list. I love the women's artistic gymnastics, the one when they do like all the flips and they land. Yeah, I like that. And then I love the diving because it's just so beautiful the way they do that. And then, let's see, what else do I love? Oh, I love horseback riding just because I think that it's so awesome. And I love their uniforms and I think it just looks so great. And then I love fencing because I'm a huge fantasy nerd. I love Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, any fantasy sword fighting is all like I'm all for it. Like I'm a nerd. I'm sorry. And I love the swimming races because I think they're so intense. I just hit my camera. So, as you can see, I love a lot of sports during the Summer Olympics. I think the Summer Olympics excel like sports-wise, like my favorite sports, but Winter Olympics excel more like spirit-wise, like my heart is more in the Winter Olympics. And Winter Olympics, I like hockey because Canada usually does well in hockey. I love figure skating. Figure skating, probably like all-time favorite. Figure skating is just so beautiful. When I was younger, I would just watch figure skating, like not even Olympics. Like I would just like there was this like channel where they had this like figure skating competition and I would watch that like every day. Every day I would watch that figure skating competition and I was obsessed. So the third question is if you were an Olympic athlete, which sport would you compete in? So Winter Olympics, figure skating. I know it's hard and I would be so bad at it. This is completely unrealistic, but figure skating just because it's so beautiful and I love the costumes. And then for the Summer Olympics, probably horseback riding, just because I think it looks so good and I love the uniforms. Like, I would do horseback riding just for the uniforms. But like that's what I would do. And then the fourth question is your country known to excel in any Olympic Games? Summer Olympics? I have no idea. I've never really seen a Summer Olympic before. I've only really watched the winter ones, besides this year. So, and I know that Canada doesn't really do well in the Summer Olympics, but in the Winter Olympics, I know that Canada just wins in the hockey. The hockey is like all of it. I remember last year, no, okay, I'll talk about that later. But yeah, hockey, definitely. There's hockey, And I think Canada does well in a lot of the winters. I think it did well in skiing, and it did well in a lot of the winter ones, especially hockey. And then the fifth question is, what is your most memorable Olympic moment? So I kind of half answered that in the first question about the fourth grade report on the Olympic mascots, and then like that whole thing about the Vancouver 2012 Olympics. I remember very clearly watching the entire opening ceremony on the Vancouver 2012. I didn't go to sleep. I watched all of it, and I loved every minute of it. It took my breath away, and I still remember like little snippets of it. Like there are some parts that just stick in my memory, and they sometimes flash back at me. But I also remember this one time during the 2 years ago, the Vancouver 2012 Olympics, when it was the final hockey tournament versus Canada and Russia. And I remember that at school and everywhere, that was the biggest like event ever. Especially for Canadians, because like everyone says like, oh, hockey's like Canada's sport, so they're like, okay, well, we have to win this. And for me, because my parents are Russian, so I was kind of like in a kind of like weird, because usually if Canada isn't competing and Russia's competing, I like vote for Russia. So I cheer on for Russia unless they're against Canada. So I wasn't sure, like I kind of felt like I didn't want either of them to lose, because I love Russia because it's my parents' country, but I love Canada because it's my country. But in the end, I decided to root for Canada. I remember when Canada won, that was the biggest thing ever. And I actually remember watching the game, and I remember how proud I was, and how, all over Facebook, all over everywhere, Canada wins, Canada wins. It was intense. And then the last question is, what are you most excited about the London 2012 Olympics? Okay, well, this is like day 9 of the London 2012 Olympics, so kind of late on that. But I gotta say, I'm for the Olympics, I'm never really excited about anything, like I said, because I don't know any athletes, I don't know any of the sports. I'm kind of just like watching them, going with the flow. But I am always excited for the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. This year I missed the opening ceremony because I was at my cottage and there was no TV there, and I was super upset, but I'm definitely watching the closing ceremony. So that is the Olympics tag, and I really wanted to do it because I just have so many feelings about the games, as you see in this video, and I hope you have a lot of feelings about the games too, and I tag anybody who watches this. So if you have anything to say, then make a video about it, or you can just answer the questions in the comments if you don't have a channel. So, bye!